Ready to improve your English conversation skills? In this video, we're going to practice 100 long English questions across 5 important topics. Each topic includes 20 detailed natural questions you're likely to hear in real conversations. Speak along, pause and repeat, and use this to improve your fluency, confidence, and thinking time in English. Let's begin with topic 1. What does your typical morning routine look like, especially on busy weekdays? On weekdays, I usually wake up around 6:30, stretch for a few minutes, then take a quick shower before preparing a light breakfast and checking my emails before work starts. How do you usually prepare for your day the night before, if at all? I try to set out my clothes, write a quick to-do list, and pack my bag the night before so that I don't feel rushed or forget anything important in the morning. When do you usually find time to relax during the day? And what do you do? I normally take a short break after lunch, whether I either go for a walk outside or listen to music to clear my mind and refresh myself before getting back to work. How has your daily routine changed over the past few years, and why? Since working from home became more common, I've had to create a stricter schedule to separate work from personal time and avoid distractions during the day. What's one small habit you do daily that helps you stay focused or motivated? Every morning, I write down 3 small goals for the day, and crossing them off one by one gives me a great sense of progress and direction. How do you usually spend your time during the first hour after waking up? I try to avoid checking my phone immediately and instead focus on making coffee, taking a shower, and reading something inspiring before diving into work. Do you follow the same routine every day, or do you like to change things up? I prefer to stick to a basic structure during the week, but keep weekends more flexible so I can enjoy a break from strict schedules and do things spontaneously. What's your favourite part of your daily routine, and why do you enjoy it? My favourite part is the quiet time I get in the evening to read a book or reflect on the day. It's calming and helps me wind down before bed. What do you usually eat during a regular weekday, and does it vary much? I normally have toast or porridge in the morning, a simple salad or sandwich for lunch, and then cook something warm for dinner like pasta, curry, or rice dishes? How do you manage your time when you feel like there's too much to do? I usually break big tasks into smaller ones and focus on doing just one thing at a time, which helps reduce the feeling of being overwhelmed or stressed. What's something in your routine that you wish you could change or improve? I wish I didn't rely on my phone so much in the evenings. It distracts me from getting proper rest, and I want to replace it with more mindful activities. How do you stay organised with all your daily responsibilities and tasks? I use a combination of a digital calendar and a handwritten list. I check both in the morning and update them throughout the day to stay on track. What do you typically do after work to unwind or transition into evening mode? After work, I usually change clothes, make a cup of tea, and either cook something relaxing or go for a walk while listening to a podcast. Is there anything you always do on weekends that's different from weekdays? On weekends, I like to sleep in a bit longer, go out for coffee with a friend, and spend more time cleaning or organising things around the house. How do you usually balance work or school with your personal routine? I try to set clear start and finish times for work or study so I don't end up working late and can still enjoy time for myself in the evenings. What does your ideal daily routine look like if everything went perfectly? I'd wake up early, exercise for 30 minutes, enjoy a healthy breakfast, get work done efficiently, and have enough time in the evening to relax or learn something new. What's one routine you've developed recently that's helped you a lot? Recently, I started journaling for 10 minutes every night before bed, and it's helped me process my thoughts and improve the quality of my sleep. Do you prefer a structured daily plan or a more flexible routine, and why? I prefer a structured plan during the week because it keeps me productive, but I like flexibility on weekends to enjoy time without pressure. How do you deal with days when your routine is disrupted or things go wrong? I try not to stress too much. I just adjust my schedule where I can and focus on doing the most important things rather than everything at once. What's one habit you do every single day that you never skip, no matter what? No matter how busy or tired I am, I always brush my teeth and wash my face before bed. It's a small routine that signals the end of my day. What kind of job do you currently have, and what do you usually do each day? I work in customer support, so I spend most of my day answering emails, solving problems for clients, and making sure everyone feels heard and supported. How did you decide on your current career path, and was it always your goal? I originally studied marketing, but found I enjoyed helping people more, so I shifted into support and gradually built a career around communication and service. What's the most rewarding part of your job, and why does it matter to you? The best part is when a customer thanks me for making their day easier. It reminds me that what I do really helps people, even in small ways. Can you describe a difficult situation you faced at work and how you handled it? A client once got very angry about a late delivery, but I listened carefully, stayed calm, and managed to resolve the issue quickly with a clear explanation and refund. What would your ideal working day look like from start to finish? I'd start with a quiet hour to plan, followed by focused tasks in the morning, a team meeting around noon, and then creative work in the afternoon with no stress. How do you usually manage stress when your job becomes overwhelming? I take short breaks every couple of hours, go for a walk at lunch if possible, and remind myself that I can only do one thing at a time. Have you ever had a job that you didn't enjoy, and what made it difficult? Yes, I once worked in a call centre with no room for creativity, and the strict scripts made it feel robotic and exhausting by the end of each shift. What skills have you learned at work that you didn't expect to use so often? I didn't think I'd use emotional intelligence this much, but it's crucial when talking to frustrated customers or handling misunderstandings calmly and respectfully. How do you usually stay motivated at work, even when things get repetitive? I set small challenges for myself, like finishing a task faster or helping a certain number of people, which keeps things interesting and gives me something to aim for. What advice would you give someone just starting out in your line of work? I'd tell them to be patient, ask lots of questions, and understand that experience comes with time. Mistakes are part of the process and not something to fear. Do you prefer working independently or as part of a team, and why? I enjoy working independently when I need to focus, but I also like collaborating on bigger projects where different ideas and skills come together. What's one major goal you have for your career in the next 5 years? I'd like to move into a leadership role where I can guide and mentor others, especially younger team members who are just starting out in the industry. What does a typical meeting at your workplace involve, and how long do they last? Most of our meetings are short video calls where we update each other on progress, discuss priorities, and plan the next steps together. They usually last 20 to 30 minutes. What do you usually do during your work breaks, and how do they help you? I usually step away from my desk, stretch a little, grab a snack, or just breathe deeply. It resets my mind so I can return to work more focused. Have you ever worked remotely or from home, and what was the experience like? Yes, I've been working from home for over a year now, and while it's convenient, it also takes discipline to stay productive and avoid blending work with personal time. What's the most important lesson you've learned from your current or past jobs? I've learned that communication is everything. Misunderstandings, delays, or problems often happen just because people weren't clear or didn't listen properly. How do you usually balance your workload when you have several tasks at once? I list everything in order of urgency, then tackle the hardest task first while I have the most energy, and leave easier things for later in the day. What do you think makes someone a great colleague or team member at work? A great colleague listens, helps without being asked, gives honest feedback kindly, and creates a positive environment where people feel comfortable asking for support. What's one thing you wish people understood better about your profession? I wish people realised that support work isn't just answering phones. It requires empathy, product knowledge, time management, and a lot of emotional control. If you could try any job for one day, just for the experience, what would it be? I think I'd love to try being a travel photographer for a day. It would combine creativity, exploration, and storytelling in a way that's completely different from office work. What was the most memorable holiday you've ever had, and what made it so special? My most memorable holiday was a week in Scotland where we explored the Highlands, stayed in a cosy cottage, and spent every evening by the fireplace with books and hot chocolate. If you could travel anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go and why? I'd probably choose Japan because I've always been fascinated by the culture, the food, and the mix of traditional temples with futuristic cities like Tokyo. What do you usually look for when choosing a place to go on holiday? I usually look for peaceful locations with beautiful scenery, good local food, and interesting cultural activities. Somewhere I can truly switch off and relax. How do you usually prepare for a trip, especially if it's to a new country? I make a packing list, check the weather, research basic customs or phrases, and plan key activities so I don't waste time once I arrive. Have you ever had any problems while travelling, and how did you deal with them? Yes, once my flight was cancelled at the last minute, but I stayed calm, spoke to the airline staff politely, and was able to get rebooked for the next day. What's your favourite way to travel? By plane, train, car, or something else? I love travelling by train because it's scenic, comfortable, and gives me time to read or simply look out the window and enjoy the journey. What do you usually pack in your bag when going away for a short holiday? I pack a few changes of clothes, travel sized toiletries, my phone charger, a book, and a small first aid kit. Just enough to stay comfortable without overpacking. Have you ever travelled somewhere completely different from your home country? Yes, visiting Morocco felt like entering a different world. The sounds, colours, spices, and street markets were unlike anything I'd experienced before. What's the best food you've ever eaten while on holiday, and where was it? The best food I've ever had was freshly made pasta in a small Italian village. It was simple but absolutely delicious, especially with the view of the countryside. How do you usually spend your time during long flights or bus rides? I bring a book or download a few podcasts to listen to, and sometimes I write in a journal. It makes the time pass quickly and helps me relax. What's one lesson you've learned from travelling that changed your perspective? I've learned that people are kind everywhere. Even if you don't speak the same language, a smile and patience can open many doors and build trust. Do you prefer relaxing holidays or action-packed adventures, and why? I prefer a mix. I like having a few days to rest, read, or lie on the beach, but I also want to explore local sites and try something new like hiking or kayaking. What's something you always forget to bring on holiday, no matter how well you plan? I almost always forget to bring an adapter for my chargers. It's such a small thing, but when you're abroad, it becomes really important. What kind of accommodation do you usually stay in when you travel? I usually book small apartments or guest houses because they feel more personal and allow me to cook or relax without the formality of a hotel. What are your thoughts on travelling alone versus travelling with others? Travelling alone gives me freedom and space to do exactly what I want. But I also enjoy travelling with friends because we share experiences and laugh more along the way. What's one travel destination you've always dreamt of visiting but haven't yet? I've always wanted to visit New Zealand. The landscapes look stunning, and I'd love to explore both the mountains and the coastal towns in one trip. How do you usually handle language barriers when you travel to foreign countries? I try to learn a few basic phrases beforehand, use translation apps when needed, and rely on gestures, smiles, and patience to communicate respectfully. What do you usually bring back from your holidays? Souvenirs, photos, or something else? I mostly bring back photos and local snacks, but I also like to buy something small like a fridge magnet or a handmade item that reminds me of the place. What are some cultural differences you've noticed while travelling abroad? One big difference was in dining. In some countries, people eat dinner very late, while in others, meals are quiet and formal, unlike the casual style I'm used to. How has travel changed the way you view your own country or culture? Travelling has helped me appreciate things I once took for granted, like public transport, healthcare, or even certain foods. It's made me more grateful and open-minded. What steps do you usually take to stay healthy on a daily basis? I try to drink enough water, walk at least 30 minutes a day, and eat more home cooked meals instead of relying on takeaway or processed food. How do you usually deal with stress when life feels overwhelming? When I feel stressed, I take deep breaths, go for a walk outdoors, or write down what's bothering me. It helps me clear my mind and feel more in control. What kind of physical exercise do you enjoy, and how often do you do it? I enjoy cycling the most because it keeps me active without being too hard on my joints, and I try to go for a long ride twice a week if the weather allows. Have you ever made a big change in your lifestyle to improve your health? Yes, I used to stay up very late and eat a lot of junk food, but now I follow a routine that includes earlier bedtimes and regular balanced meals. How do you usually recover when you're feeling sick or under the weather? I rest as much as possible, drink warm herbal tea, take medicine if needed, and avoid screens so my body can focus on getting better quickly. What role does mental health play in your overall well-being, in your opinion? I believe mental health is just as important as physical health because how you think and feel affects everything, from your motivation to your relationships and energy levels. What's your typical sleep routine, and do you think you get enough rest? I try to go to bed around 10:30 p.m. and wake up at 6:30 a.m., which gives me about 8 hours. It helps me stay focused and improves my mood throughout the day. How do you take care of your health when you're busy or short on time? I keep healthy snacks at work, take the stairs instead of the lift, and do short 10-minute home workouts if I don't have time for a full gym session. What healthy habits did you learn growing up that you still follow today? My parents always encouraged me to eat fruit with every meal and go outside daily, and I still follow those habits because they genuinely make me feel better. How do you usually handle negative emotions like anger, sadness, or frustration? I give myself a moment to feel them fully without judgment, then talk to someone I trust, write in my journal, or do something active to release the energy. What's your opinion on using technology to support health, like fitness apps? I think fitness apps and trackers can be very helpful as long as they don't create pressure. They remind me to move more and drink enough water throughout the day. What do you usually do to boost your energy when you're feeling tired? I either take a short nap, do some light stretching, or drink a glass of cold water with lemon. It's a quick way to refresh both my body and my mind. How important is a healthy diet in your life, and what do you focus on eating? A healthy diet is a big part of my routine, and I try to include vegetables in every meal, reduce sugar, and cook most of my meals from scratch. Have you ever tried any specific health routines or trends, and did they help? I once tried intermittent fasting for a few months, and while it wasn't right for me long term, it helped me become more aware of my eating patterns and portion sizes. What advice would you give to someone who wants to live a healthier life? Start with small, realistic changes like drinking more water, getting better sleep, or walking daily, because big improvements usually come from consistent little steps. How do you feel about taking vitamins or supplements to support your health? I take a few basic supplements like vitamin D in the winter, but I think it's best to get nutrients from real food whenever possible, with supplements only filling the gaps. What's something you do regularly to take care of your mental well-being? I schedule quiet time every evening where I disconnect from work and social media. Even just 20 minutes of silence helps me stay calm and more balanced. How do you handle situations where you feel burnt out or completely exhausted? I usually take a break from everything non-essential, cancel plans if I have to, and focus on rest, good food, and getting outside. That always helps me recharge. Do you follow any routines that help you stay focused and mentally sharp? Yes, I try to avoid multitasking, keep my phone on silent while working, and take regular breaks to stretch. It keeps my mind clear and improves my concentration. What does a perfectly healthy day look like for you, from morning to night? I'd start with an early walk and a nutritious breakfast, work efficiently without stress, eat light meals, take time to relax in the evening, and go to bed peacefully by 10. How would you describe your relationship with your family, and how often do you talk? I'm really close to my family. We talk almost every day, even if it's just a quick message or call to check in and see how everyone's doing. What qualities do you value most in a close friendship, and why are they important? I value honesty, loyalty, and a good sense of humour. Friends who make you laugh and support you through tough times are the ones that really matter. Have you ever had a falling out with someone close, and how did you handle it? Yes, I once argued with a friend over a misunderstanding, but we both gave it time, apologised sincerely, and talked openly to rebuild the trust between us. How do you usually meet new people or make friends as an adult? It's not always easy, but I've met new people through hobbies, group classes, volunteering, and even by starting conversations in cafes or at community events. What do you usually do to maintain strong relationships, even when life gets busy? I set reminders to call or message people, send thoughtful notes occasionally, and try to meet up in person when possible. Even a small gesture keeps the connection strong. What's the best advice you've ever received about dealing with difficult people? Someone once told me to stay calm, listen more than I speak, and never let other people's behaviour control my emotions. It's helped me a lot in tough situations. How do you usually handle misunderstandings in conversations with others? I try to pause, ask clarifying questions, and explain my side calmly. Most problems come from poor communication, not bad intentions. What role does trust play in your relationships, and how do you build it? Trust takes time. I build it by being consistent, keeping my promises, and being there for people, especially when they're going through something difficult. How do you balance time between family, friends, and your personal space? I try to plan ahead. Weekends are for friends and family, while weekdays after work are usually for myself unless something important comes up. Have you ever helped a friend through a tough time, and how did you support them? Yes, a close friend went through a breakup, and I checked in daily, listened without judging, and reminded them of their strengths until they felt better. How do you feel about meeting new people from different cultures or backgrounds? I really enjoy it. It opens my mind, challenges my assumptions, and often leads to interesting conversations that I wouldn't have had otherwise. What's something you've learned about yourself from being in relationships? I've learned that I need time alone to recharge, and that clear communication is something I have to work on constantly. People can't read your mind. What do you usually do if you feel like someone is pulling away from the friendship? I give them a bit of space, but still check in gently. If they want to talk, I'm there, but I also try not to pressure anyone into explaining right away. What's your approach to resolving conflict when you strongly disagree with someone? I focus on listening first, avoid raising my voice, and try to find common ground. Even if we don't agree, we can still respect each other's views. Have you ever made a new friend in an unexpected place or situation? Yes, I once became friends with someone while waiting in a long queue. We just started chatting to pass the time and ended up exchanging numbers. How do you usually react when someone gives you constructive criticism? I try to listen without getting defensive, take a moment to think about it, and use it to improve if it's fair. I see it as a chance to grow, not a personal attack. What kind of person do you find it hardest to get along with, and why? I find it difficult to connect with people who constantly complain or interrupt others. I prefer being around those who listen, stay calm, and see solutions. What do you think makes someone a good listener in a conversation? A good listener gives you their full attention, doesn't interrupt, and responds with empathy. It makes you feel heard and valued, even if they don't have all the answers. How do you show appreciation to the people you care about in your life? I write thank you messages, cook meals, or just spend quality time with them. Small, thoughtful actions can mean more than expensive gifts. What's the most important lesson you've learned from your past relationships? I've learned that love and friendship require effort. You can't take people for granted, and being honest and present is more powerful than always trying to impress.